Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another speed build. Hope you are having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. For today's speed build, I wanted to switch it up a little bit from kind of the standard family house that I've been doing in the past and keep in theme with the fact that Halloween is coming 1 month away. So exciting. I love Halloween. It's just such a fun little holiday. But yeah, for today's speed build, wanted to keep it with like sort of a Halloweenish vibe. I actually don't even know if that comes across in the end, but I don't know. I started with one idea and then kind of just went with it. After you can see I started placing those stairs, that's when all the ideas started coming together. Basically, hear me out. There was a few inspirations for this build. I wanted to do something that was kind of like a manor or a mansion, kind of based off the game Clue, that like murder mystery game. And then also the new TV show that's on Netflix with Sarah Paulson, Ratchet. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. But there is a character in that show. I can't remember her name. I think it's Lenore or Eleanor Osgood or something. And she lives in this really, really, really cool house. There's so many plants. It's actually a real house. I looked it up. And they do a lot of like photo shoots there for like Gucci and like luxury fashion brands. But yeah, that's kind of what this was based off. I wanted there to be like a lot of plants. Oh, I also had recently watched a series of unfortunate events and was slightly inspired by the uncle who has a lot of plants and like rare animals. So basically that's kind of where I was going with this. Don't know if that even makes sense, but maybe it will in the end. The interior ends up being quite different. I had like a very specific sim in mind that I actually created. If you watch till the end, I tried my hand at making a little machinima, little video to showcase the house instead of doing screenshots. Which you can see I tried something else in the intro this time, and hopefully you guys like that. I actually had a lot of fun filming stuff. I thought it'd be a little trickier than it was, but I enjoyed it. It was a good time. Something different. But yeah, so those were the inspirations for the house. You can see there where I'm putting all those windows. That ends up being sort of like a greenhouse. And that's kind of where the reference for a series of unfortunate events, as well as Clue, because I remember there being, I think, a greenhouse. How do you even play that game? I don't even remember. You like choose a location in the house and then the weapon or something. You like kill Colonel Mustard with a wrench in the plant room. I don't know. It was a fun game though. But yeah, so at least you guys can see where my head was at with this. I wanted it to be kind of mystical. It ends up there is a room for like a spellcaster, so there gets a cauldron in there. Basically, the sim I created for this house, she's a adult sim, so she's a little bit older, but she's very fabulous. She wears a lot of makeup. She wears beautiful clothing. Most of the time she's in like a silk robe. She's quite saucy. You'll see in the video that I create later. She is also a spellcaster, so she basically lives alone in this house. Maybe her husband or wife or whoever was deceased in the past, and she inherited all this money, and I don't know. She's very based off the character from the show Ratchet. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with this house. I think this actually might be one of my favorite builds I've ever done. And I wasn't sure about it because I haven't really done anything like this before. I've done some mansion builds in the past, but nothing quite in this style of like old Art Deco, old Hollywood. I don't know. It was fun. I had a good time. But yeah, you can see basically the shape of the house coming together now. I played with terrain manipulation tools again. I think I'm getting better at it. I don't know. I find them so difficult to use. I don't know why. But I was watching some other speed builds last night and where people were using terrain manipulation tools, and they all said the same thing. So I don't think it's just me. I think it's just kind of hard in The Sims 4. I don't know why. I think like each tool confuses me. I like don't really know what does what. One says like flatten to level, flatten to lot. I don't know. It's just a little bit confusing. But yeah, so I tried my hand at doing that. I think it turned out really nicely. I've actually never built a house where I started with that like side, the back backside patio with the stairs. I don't know why I started with that. I just kind of had an idea in my head and I was like, I'll just make the house work around that. So I really like how that little garden turned out. But yeah, I don't actually include a lot of the landscaping. I can't remember if I keep in the pond on the side. I definitely took out in that back, I'm trying to figure out how to describe the back left, behind the fountain-ish pool-looking thing in the back corner there. I don't include that footage, but there ends up being like a lot of romantic garden stuff. So lots of statues, benches. I get the wishing well in there too, which I believe you can actually make a wish. Or is it a fake object? Is it decorative? I don't remember. I remember in the past Sims games you could actually like make a wish and things would come true, but it's a Sims 4, so you probably can't actually do anything with it. Such a shame. I am really hoping that we get a expansion pack leak or announcement soon. I think we will. Not really sure. Honestly, if it's anything, I think everyone's going to be pleased because you can't really get worse than what's come out in the last little bit, like the Star Wars game pack. I'm really hoping it's like a winter... the problem is it's an expansion pack, so I don't know if like a resort theme or like a winter mountain, like skiing, if that would be a full expansion pack or not. I don't know. Although Island Living was an expansion pack, which I don't think it should have been, but that's just my opinion. So you really never know these days what we're going to get. And I also feel like we already have everything. And I know they're not doing farming, so it really could be anything. But I'm banking on some sort of like winter theme. And I think we've had some clues that it might be that, so I don't know. Not too sure. I honestly can't think of anything else that it would be, because this has been the longest running like iteration of the series. Like The Sims 4 has been out for so long. This is like the longest we've ever had a game for. I think I might be ready for The Sims 5. I don't know. I'm losing hope for this game. Building is so much fun in The Sims 4, but I just miss wanting to actually play the game. Like I never actually play, which is very sad to me because I used to play like The Sims 2 for like 8 hours a day. So I'm hoping that The Sims 5, fingers crossed, focuses a lot more on gameplay, because they definitely nailed the building aspect. Aside from terrain tools, I think those could be improved a little bit, but yeah. Oh, I love that willow tree that I included in the little corner there. Oh yeah, so I do include the pond. You just do that creating a fountain, and then you put a bunch of rocks around it, which you'll see I do in a second. And you can change the color of to the dark murky green. I don't know. I just really like how this build turned out. I think it's so mystical, and yeah, I don't know if it if the Halloween vibe comes across at all, but oh, another inspiration that I had was Tower of Terror, that movie with the ride, the Hollywood Tower Hotel. That was kind of the vibe. I was obsessed with that movie when I was younger. I used to like go to the video store when you could like rent movies back in the day. Oh, times have changed. Go to like Blockbuster on a Friday night. I was obsessed with this movie, and I would rent it every time I would go to the movie store. What are they called? Video store? Is that what it was called? I don't even remember. It's been so long. But I would rent that movie every single time I went, and then eventually the guy at the video store just gave it to me, or he ordered a copy for me and just gave it to me because I ordered it so much, or rented it so much, sorry. But yeah, so this house, I kind of had that hotel in mind as well. It's kind of like that old, again, Art Deco, Hollywood vibe. And the Sim is also, she seems like a, sort of like an old school Hollywood star, maybe. A little Judith Ward vibes. But she's quite saucy. So I had a lot of fun with that Sim. Maybe I'll actually end up playing the game, but probably not, because I get bored very quickly. But yeah, back to that willow tree. I was going to include the rope swing that came with the Tiny Twaddlers CC pack by Harry. And is it by Harry and Felix? I can never remember if it's both of them or just Harry. I'm pretty sure it's both of them. But yeah, that CC pack has a lot of great items that I was very tempted to use. I'm getting very sick of our like wallpapers as well. There's so many good custom content ones that I wanted to use, but I really wanted to keep it CC free in case people want to download this for whatever purpose they may have. Also, that greenhouse, I can't remember if I included in the footage, but I changed the roof. What do I do? Oh, there. Yeah, I just rounded it out. I always forget you can do that. Or like I know and then I forget and then I'm like, oh, that looks way better. So yeah, I just love how lush everything looks. I used a lot of plants in this build, so might have went a little too crazy, but probably not. Okay, so we're moving on into the interior now. Yeah, I definitely cut out a lot of the landscaping. I think it just got a little repetitive. But I did use a lot of like rose bushes and a lot of romantic garden stuff, so I definitely didn't limit myself to packs, but it's definitely romantic garden stuff heavy. And there's definitely another pack that I used a lot. You know what? Probably all the packs, to be honest with you. But you'll see once we get into the interior, it's very different. I don't know. I wanted it to still be like an older house, but it's definitely been updated to the specific Sims taste. It's a little eccentric, colorful. I don't know. You'll see. It's definitely not for everyone, but I had a lot of fun with it. And I actually started out with a different style. I didn't include the footage, but I went like very old Manor style, and I just like wasn't into it. I don't know. I just feel like it's not really relatable to the sim, at least, that I had in mind. So I switch it up, and I think it's a lot more fun and matches her personality a lot better. But yeah, we're getting all the plants in. You can take all those plants out and actually use those as actual planters if you want. I was going to include the actual plant seeds in there, but I was like, yeah, it looks better if it's more full. Because there's not actually anything to do in this room other than stare at the plants. So I realized that after when I was doing some filming. And I was like, what can she be doing in this room? But then I changed the entire plot of my little machinima, and it gets quite PG-13 if you ask me. You'll see at the end. Stay tuned. I had a lot of fun with it. Oh yeah, we get a little fountain in there. I think you can make a wish with that one too, which actually doesn't do anything, but I guess it's something. Okay, so moving on into, I guess this would be like the living room, because I realized afterwards that there's not actually a living room. So this would be the living room, but I kind of turned it into more of like a library. I love those wallpapers. I think those were from a base game update. I want to say when we got the Caribbean themed stuff. That actually had some good stuff in that update. But yeah. So once I placed that wallpaper, I was like, okay, now I see the vibe we're going for. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. This room's pretty like tame compared to the others. I just wanted it to be like dark and green and like lush feeling. I think we just get a chess table in there, and that's pretty much all. But yeah, again, if you want to switch this room up, again, using my favorite painting. I love that painting. I had a hard time with, because I used a lot of paintings in this build. You'll see in a sec that every wall is just cluttered with paintings. Yeah, you can see here in this entryway here. So I ended up repeating a lot of the paintings. We need some more. I love gold frames, which was the theme I was going for here, but I'm pretty sure I used all of them on this one wall, so I was like, shoot. But we do it again in the breakfast nook too, so yeah, it gets a little repetitive, but I think it looks quite nice. Moving into the dining room. Yeah, so you can see sort of the idea. There's just lots of plants. It's very bright and colorful. I really like those blue walls. At first I wasn't sure. I went through a lot of swatches before I ended up. The first one I placed was actually the blue one, and I was like, I really like this, but is this weird? Because I was still kind of going for that old Manor style with the furnishing. So I was like, I don't know if this makes sense. But then once I went back and was like, no, we're gonna go for it with the colors and the fun stuff. Also, I'm not sure, that's a bar by the stairs. I'm not sure if they can use it because it's kind of half placed into the stairs, but there is the globe bar that they can use. I wish we had like wine bottles or something that they could like use as like a bar, because I feel like the bars are so big and I love having Sims drink in my game. So it would be nice to have a different option. Oh, Jungle Adventures. That's the other pack that I used quite a bit. I use it a lot in the kitchen, a lot with the tiling in the bathrooms. I use it quite a bit. Basically, the idea in my head is that maybe either the Sim, she travels quite a bit. There's a lot of like artifacts and stuff around the house. So I'm not sure 100% if it's either her artifacts that she's been traveling around, or maybe her late husband or wife was also into traveling. I'm not sure. Maybe it was her. I feel like she's never been married. She's a really cool Sim. I feel like she'd have some interesting stories. So that was kind of the idea that I had. I actually really like this kitchen. It's different, that's for sure. This whole house is just like different, and I really like how it turned out. I definitely wouldn't live here, but I could see this being like a real, like a rich person's house. So yeah, you can see I'm using some of the Jungle Adventures artifacts. I've never actually gone on a jungle adventure in The Sims. I don't even think I've been to that world. No, I definitely have. I built something there before, but I've never actually played there. I don't know if I'm into that style of game where you have to like, it's just like little puzzles, but I feel like you're kind of just walking around and just like clicking on boxes, and I don't know. Just not for me. Bon Voyage was my favorite vacation pack. So here we are getting the spellcaster stuff. This room is pretty small, but we managed to get everything in here that you need. I just realized that I changed the floors back to those other tiles, but I kind of like these ones. Maybe it was a little too blue. I don't know. Yeah, those tiles change again, but yeah. I actually wasn't sure if I was going to include that stuff, but I was like, oh, this room is like perfect for it. And then off camera, I actually closed that room off with a door. I thought it would be maybe a little more secretive. Like maybe people don't know she's a spellcaster. I don't know. I actually thought this house would be kind of cool for the Goth family as well, which was another little inspo. I had like 12 inspirations for this house. The Goth family house in The Sims 3. That's kind of what this reminds me of a little bit. And whenever I actually play, or at least before I started doing YouTube stuff, I used to, in my save file, it was like all Pleasant View Sims from The Sims 2. And I always make Bella Goth a witch, and she doesn't live with Mortimer or anyone. She always lives in, well, I had her in Glimmerbrook when it came out, but she lived in like a cottage out in the woods. To me, she's a witch. I don't know. I feel like she's a witch. That might have been influenced by, I remember back when The Sims 2 had like stories on their website. I can't remember. I think it was The Fate of Alchemy or something. Can't remember who it was by, but it was such a good story, and Bella Goth was a witch. So after that, I was like, yeah, that makes sense to me. But yeah, in my save, Mortimer obviously marries Dina, and she gets all the money. And she always renovates the house to be more modern and whatnot. But I feel like this would be a good house for them too. So this is the bedroom. I just went for it in this room. It's quite saucy. I just love how it turned out. I don't actually furnish the other bedrooms, but there are 2 more. But yeah, we are coming to the end of the video. Stay tuned for the little machinima at the end. But thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.